new pro-Russia song, which I completely dig it. There's two versions. This is the AI animated version. I love the armor. Makes me want to get my 28mm lens out.
Драконы Америки, Европы драконы. В Сербии, в Сирии плачут иконы. И на Донбассе слезы и стоны. Разве Брюсселе не учатся в школе? Нет вам победы на русском поле. И крестоносцы уйдут в-под лед. Как вам не жалко свой же народ? Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия, мама, на молитву встанем рано. Мама, Россия, мама, от Москвы до океана. Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия,
I'm going to
мама.
call these from here where they get
Что за политика, что за приколы? Турки, как раньше, в спину уколы. НАТО залезла в славянский овраг. Может, распишем опять вам Рейхстаг? Вам же вон рассказал президент, что в этих войнах один лишь ответ. Русских нельзя никогда победить. Можете только себе навредить. Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия, мама, на молитву встанем рано. Мама, Россия, мама, от Москвы до океана. Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия, мама, Россия, мама. Мама, Россия, мама.
But in historic Christianity, the dragon represents
Mama, Россия, мама.
saint. This is why you honor your ancestors.
Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия, мама, на молитву встанем рано. Мама, Россия, мама, от Москвы до океана. Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия, мама, все в любви и без обмана. Мама, Россия, мама, на молитву встанем рано.
Let's end that. Well, there's people watching already. See, America, if we would embrace our history, we would be like that. But because America has been tricked into giving up our nationalism, our Christianity, etc., we can't be strong like that. How you doing, James Lowry? It was good to see you, big guy. Christians fighting the dragon of Islamic invaders. If you look at the lyrics, they mention America, Turks, NATO, and how the war in Ukraine is been really a horrible thing. Um, Now, everybody knows my opinion on this. They know that I think America should become allied with Russia. Uh, and I'll stand on that until, the life leaves me. That's not even the most exciting thing. I just really like that video. The most exciting thing is, well, somebody said I need to wash my head. And I had to respond back to that because I wash my hair, guys, but some people, for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm one of them for sure, right? Are naturally just greasy as hell. And that's me. I am just freaking, if I got any oilier, the president would send a freaking Delta Force team to raid my head. Um, And if I wash my hair every single day instead of like every other day or so, it gets oilier. It just gets worse, right? And like I told the guy, I didn't recognize his name or anything. I don't know if he'll even come back to notice I responded to him. I thought it's funny, but I told him that if I grew my hair out long enough, I could literally lubricate an M16 by taking the bolt out and just rubbing it around my head, put it back in, and it'd be ready to go because I naturally am a greasy bastard. And boy, when I was young, it sucked because my skin was so oily, it broke out, and I was just like the biggest nerd ever. So, to the guy who said I need to wash my head, I do, but I am blessed or cursed with enormously greasy hair, man. Sorry, can't do nothing about that. Um, it is what it is. SOCKS. Now, someone else posted, I'm sorry, I forget your name. Where do I get those Goodman Games adventures at? I got all mine on Amazon. And they were all like $9 a piece. Some of them cheaper, a couple of them more expensive, just depending on how I am painting. The plan is for me to finish up painting these pig orcs. I am not going for a super masterful paint job. I am going for basic colors and shading and then a hard coat. So one of the things, I love these miniatures so much, but they're metal. And metal means if you touch them at all, especially again, if you're greasy like I am, you rub the paint right off the metal, right? And that's why you see guys on YouTube wearing nitrile gloves. It's one, they don't want to get paint on them. Not that this paint is very, toxic at all, really. And two, if you have greasy hands, you'll rub the paint right off metal, which is one of the reasons I'm such a huge fan of plastic, polystyrene, and resin. Actually, resin's really good because most of the time you don't even got to primer resin. The resin itself is somewhat like grippy and porous. So, I mean, it'll take paint like it actually is already primered. Oh, by the way, I showed you my little Modi last night. Here's the big Modi. A motor. I forget the name of the movie this monster comes from, but I thought it was really, really super cool. And if you look way up underneath there, you can see his face in there. And mostly, I might give him some painting too, but he's mostly just a really dark brown with some highlights. So it's like, but I am going to make sure to paint his eyes like the brightest red I have. So, yeah, you see how I handle my miniatures. That's terrible. I shouldn't do that. But I do because, I guess because I'm terrible. But anyway, hey, I'll tell you what, if we ever get into a situation where civilization breaks down and it's just me and my AR or my AK hiding out in the mountains, this greasy hair will be of great advantage because I'll just be able to rub my hand through it and get it greasy and then rub down the. I don't know if that would even work, but it's funny. I thought it was funny. But yeah, some things you can't help, you know? And like I said, when I was in high school, I was like just the typical greasy pizza face nerd. I weighed like 140 pounds. I was like 5'6". It's funny because now I meet guys I went to high school with and they're like 5'6". And, so I tower over them like, and of course, a lot of people don't know this, but if we're going to talk about my appearance, which I don't mind doing, oh yeah, they will. The 3D printed Reaper bones, they love paint. They'll suck it right up. Yeah, what was I going to say before I distracted myself? I was going to say something about funny things about the way I look, but then I forgot. But yes, I was a goofy looking bastard all throughout school. And now one of the guys I went to high school with, right? He plays in my Hyperborea game. And it's kind of hilarious because all throughout school he was way taller than I was. And now he's like 5'7" and I'm 6'1". And if I put my boots on, hell, those boots add another couple inches because I got some big old uh, Milwaukee leather engineering boots. So whenever we're hanging out, I'm like towering over him. But oh yeah, so who knew in the middle of the night that yeah, we talked about that uh, the military was going to go in and take out Madero. Talked about that yesterday when it happened, and it's so hilarious. And I don't want to get too political about it, but I am going to point this out. Guys, notice who's complaining, right? And that's why I tell people you can tell a lot about a person by who their enemies are. You know what I mean? I think that was a Viking saying too a long time ago. Like you could judge a man by his enemies. Heyo, Squirrel Hermit. What's up, brother? Congratulations on winning the uh, Great YouTuber of Last Year award from Shadow and his little mini me, which is no longer a mini me. Geesh, that kid is sprouting like a weed, ain't he? But congratulations to you. Um, so basically, what I'm saying, if somebody does something that's obviously a really good thing for a group of people, but someone else starts screaming about how horrible it is, you know, you can judge a man by his enemies for sure. George, what is up, George? George also won an award for all of the brilliant artwork that he has been just letting people use. I know I use some of George's stuff. I use George's stuff and I use cold iron oven stuff mainly because, you know, if Cold Iron Oven does a really good meme that I find super funny, I got to put that as a thumbnail. I got to. That's just like, see, I got distracted and instead of doing the orcs, I'm putting the first coat on this guy. No problem, Squirrel. Well deserved. Well deserved. As a matter of fact, when he said he was going to be doing that show, and he's like, I'm not going to say who's going to win. I was like, well, Squirrel Hermit, right? You can go back and look at the live and you'll hear me say, well, Squirrel Hermit. And he's like, I'm not saying. And I'm like, well, okay. And then I was like, well, in my opinion, I should win every category for everything. And he said, no, it's not going to be you. And I was like, well, damn, man. Spank me right in the pee right off the bat. Why don't you? But I mean, I don't care about it so much. It is nice, though, to be recognized by a peer. And therefore, as I said, congratulations to both of you guys. I mean, well done, both of you. See, Squirrel Hermit, I don't know if he even remembers, but I started watching his channel a long, long time ago when he had that whole thing about using random initiative and stuff. And that's what kind of got me sucked into that. And then Squirrel Hermit and I both went through a little bit of a let's play D&D at 15 millimeter scale, which I think Squirrel's still doing. I lasted like a couple weeks and I was like, nah. And one of the reasons I have to admit is monetary. I could buy all the 15 millimeter or 3D print 15 millimeter figures, but the problem is I already own so many figures. It would be like, why even go into a different scale? It just wouldn't make much sense for me. It'd be like if I had thousands of dollars of the old Space Marine Epic, I wouldn't have bought, the Legions Imperialis because they're two different scales. And so it would suck. Hopefully this video doesn't get like banned right off the bat by the Russians. Right? That's what I thought. Except I didn't think Inspector Gadget when I saw Jackie. I thought the detective from the Pink Panther. What's his name? Inspector Clouseau or something like that. One day I'd like to make more of the Wizard Barber. Hey, man, it's your time and nobody can tell you how to spend it. But I'm a huge fan of the Wizard Barbershop stuff, That's good, wholesome stuff. Just Bear and Shadow and Hungar and myself and whoever else just sitting around in the Wizard Barbershop shooting the shit. Yeah, he looked like Inspector Clouseau or whatever to me. Peter Sellers. But hey, I was just impressed because we never get to see Jackie that much anymore. He's always, out busy being important in the world and stuff. And which is awesome and what he should be doing, but damn, that kid. Steak and pierogies tonight? Both? Jeez, man. This guy over here. I mean, yeah, there's no way I can make it, Squirrel. I mean, you live too far away. It's like a 20-hour drive to your house. I don't know, though. If I was up where my mom is right now, Ohio's only like a couple hour drive. Depending on where you are, I could be to Cincinnati in like an hour and a half or so. So when my wife finally retires and allows me to move back home, maybe one of these days I'll invite you down. take you up on the mountainside and let you shoot my guns and pet my dogs and, uh, you know, eat dinner together and stuff. That would be nice. I mean, right now it's just like a dream and it may or may not ever happen, but you know, it could. It could happen. I know my wife would love if we had company if they liked board games because which we played our second game of Splendor, right? She beat the hell out of me the first game. It wasn't even close. So the second game, I'm like, okay, here's the rule. Whoever wins this game of Splendor gets to pick which game we're going to play next, right? Two-player game because, you know, it's just me and her competing with each other. Tie game, 26 points each, which for Splendor is a lot. But I'll tell you what, I would almost rather lose than tie because tying just seems so useless, you know? It's like, ugh. And I was so hopeful too, man. I was cooking, man. You know, I was getting nobles, I was getting all the expensive blueback cards, you know, the hell, I don't even know what to call them, but I was getting them. And somehow my head math that said that I was way ahead of her was not correct. Because it turned out we tied. And I'm like, well, damn. So after I get done streaming, she has challenged me to a third game, a third match, you know, which in a way will be a tiebreaker. Now, if I win and I get to pick the next two-player game we play, I don't know what I'll pick. Maybe Dungeon. It's been a while since we played Dungeon. Maybe Dungeon. Maybe. I mean, a lot of the games I have are really for multiple players, so you know. Maybe Escape. I like that game. That's one where you got to get off the space shuttle and like the space station's getting ready to blow up and you have to get off and only one person can get off. So every round you get your turn and you draw a tile, which is a passage or whatever, right? But you don't play it on you. You play it on your opponents to try to make the distance to the end of the board more long because that's how you win. Get off the board, you win. So, yeah, the whole point of the game is laying tiles down to make it more difficult for your opponent to get off the board. Another game that we like to play two-player quite a bit is Carcassonne. You know. And I have the one with everything Carcassonne box set. So we use bishops and stuff like that, but we don't use all the expense.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
All right, look at that. This guy's almost completely painted.
Nice.
And I decided to use the, this is a Vallejo Express color, which is the same thing as speed paints. This is Black Lotus. And all that really means is when it dries, it has a very blue undertone.
The good
so
stuff.
It's almost like just a really, really, really dark blue.
The good stuff.
What's that?
You didn't use Haga. You're a slayer. You used Lotus.
Right, exactly. I would so I got to a slayer such as you. Yeah. And I actually used this stuff to paint my Conan's hair so that the highlights would be kind of blue. because, I don't know why actually. When I had hair color, it was blue black. So, and by that I mean it was so black that when I walked out in the sunlight, it reflected blue. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
And
fair.
then I had daughters, and all my hair turned gray. The circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is a bunch of bullshit. I saw a 3D printed setup on Facebook for Carcassonne. Man, I used to, Paul. This is before I think you were around. I made a whole campaign map out of 3D printed hexes from Hexen Hills. And it was really, really cool. But the problem is, one 2-inch hex is really light, but like 300 of them glued to a backing, it's like very heavy. So, yeah, I ended up. It's out in the garage. I don't know if I'm gonna try to pill them because I used hot glue. I could always just pill them off the backing and throw them in a box for some other thing. But so, Bear, what you been up to today, man?
Writing.
Yeah.
That's all I do anymore.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're happy, man.
I wouldn't say happy.
I lucked out because I was going through stuff in my garage and I found this simple stone altar. And I just so happened to have an extra 3D printed chick getting ready to get sacrificed.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's like the ultimate Hyborean or Hyperborean thing. The adventures kick in the room just as the cultist is raising the dagger, And then Conan or whoever the hero is has to like leap across the room to try to save the maiden. And then, of course, after he does, she gives him that booty.
Except the problem is you're running a role playing game. So as the guy who is the Conan of your group runs across the room with his sword drawn, the fucking rogue pops out a bow and aces the fucking cultist right in the eye, making everybody's turn moot.
And we do have a scout in the group who is good with a bow. So
Exactly. You got to find other ways to do it.
also, it may not be a guy running across the room to save the maiden.
No, it'll be your wife playing the crazy.
Because I got 2 or 3 women in the group, depending. So, and there's only ever been one game where my wife kind of swung both ways. That was Cyberpunk. But to be fair, her character had done a lot of cocaine that night. Not her, but her character. So I guess she decided to just go ham with her street. Well, what do they call them in solos?
Yeah, solo, yeah.
Yep, she was playing a solo. That was all done up for ranged combat.
Well, it's an idiot that goes for hand to hand in Cyberpunk.
Yeah. She had like the augmented eyes and targeting and all that. And then like a little bit of the gives you a bonus to initiative or whatever. In Shadowrun, they would call it wired reflexes. I forget
Nice.
what they call it in Cyber.
That would have been either Krasnikov booster or Sandevistan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reflex boosters. Though people always fucked up and never read the rules on those. One of them increased your reflexes. The other one only increased your reflexes for initiative.
Right. Exactly. They're super like in Shadowrun, which I'm sure you've probably played.
Nope. Can't stand it. No interest.
Okay. If you are the guy that decides to invest all of your money in like Wired Reflexes 3, that is literally all you get. Wired Reflexes 3 is so expensive as far as your essence that you might have enough to like maybe get some augmented eyes or something. But in Shadowrun, I mean, wired reflexes 3. That's like +3 dice to your initiative and +3 attacks and all, or not +3 attacks, but in Shadowrun you get an attack for every when you count it down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you roll your initiative and you just roll a shit ton of high number, right? Then it's like you might go 5 times in one action. Depending on the number countdown. So, yeah, those wired reflexes, they're worth it if you've got the millions of yen to spend, and that's all you're going to do is be just fast as hell. But they also eventually will rip your body apart. Turns out the human body is not designed to move like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah. Not really designed to move like that. So you definitely get jacked up by it. I saw Doc. I threw a link out there for him.
You think he's prepping for his game today?
Oh, okay. Well, okay then. Yeah, it's Sunday. I have to remember I don't have a game today. Since we moved to Saturday. So every Sunday I'm always like, for a while there, every Sunday I thought was Monday. Because I truly am a creature of habit. So in my brain, I'm like, well, we played role-playing games last night. Therefore, it's Monday, right? Because we play role-playing games on Sunday. And now that we play on Saturday, now I've gotten used to it, though. So, I'm better now. So, Mama Lucia, Mama. I got that song in my head. But, yeah. After I got off the stream with you, I hung out and done my thing. And then we were up late, but I was up early. But it was like, so I had to take care of the stuff I have to take care of. And then I thought about
in the chat.
All right. Nice. Is he? I don't see.
No, he's typing. He said, very rusty, been a while now. Yup, LOL. Use the link, Doc. Join us. Even if it's for like 10 minutes. Say hi. Hey, Squirrel.
Yeah, Squirrel don't join either. He could if he wanted. PB could if he wanted. I mean, all of you guys that show up regularly, you have an open invitation. If you're willing to deal with the madness that is our chat sometimes. Because sometimes it does get a little crazy in here.
Yeah, the chat's okay. You're the madness that's the hardest to deal with.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good thing I'm running it. Otherwise, you guys would kick me out.
You, my friend, are a good man, and I enjoy being your friend, and I enjoy knowing you. But I will say this about you, as much as I love you like a play cousin, if you get an audience, oh my God, can you be a fucking dick to deal with?
I've got an audience. Look at me. I got 10 people.
No, but there's okay. I was going to be nice and say audience, but you want to be pedantic? We'll be pedantic. There are certain people who, if they're in the chat, you become really, 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 really annoying to deal with because it's like you're performing.
Are you going to razz me about Dungeon Minister again?
No, that you become a whole other beast when Dungeon Minister's involved.
Yeah, I'm like, quick, everybody be good. The boss is
be good. There's a preacher here. Be good. Be careful. Don't say anything stupid. Shut up, Bear.
Don't say anything stupid. He'll tell on us.
Go away, Hungar.
Yes, Hungar must be hidden at once.
Oh my God.
Hungar is a one-way ticket to hell.
Maybe you might be talking about Janet, who
Listen, I'm not here to debate it. I'm not going to debate it with you.
Flirt with her, but not really.
La 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 la. I've said what I said. I'm saying nothing more on the subject.
I don't even know who else I even have on the channel but you. And I've been being really careful not to like razz you about being Canadian or anything.
How's this look? Do you guys like this one?
Yes, let's look at some art. Sipping on straight chlorine. I'm over.
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
very cool.
look at that, Kraken.
Fantasy calamari, the feast that fights back.
Can you imagine how much calamari? If you did manage to kill that bitch, and
We're
drag
set
it
for
into the
life,
village,
Luigi.
Well, I've lost all interest in discussing art with the two of you cunts any longer.
no, the art was great. I
Yeah,
was
it's
just
fantastic.
thinking in D&D terms.
I
If you could get
D&D
even
terms right
one
here,
tentacle
pal.
of that thing into town, it would be like feast for weeks.
I got you, D&D.
Especially if the town was like Italian or Greek. Forget about it, man.
Well, do you remember they did this thing years and years and years ago? There was the guy who wrote Jaws made a book or a story about a giant octopus terrifying a town.
Oh yeah,
And they
I
made a
remember
movie out of it, a TV movie, like a 2-night special out of it. And my buddy was like, I don't understand why this show exists. And I'm like, why? He goes, 20 Greek fishermen, your problem solved.
Yeah, 20 Greek or Portuguese.
I was like, you know what?
Especially if it's in New England. You're going to have fishing boats full of Portuguese fishers. That shit's done.
Did you guys ever read the book Jaws?
No, I heard
It's
No.
terrible. It's like
Well-
horribly written. It's like something out of like a high school creative writing class. I thought it's
Tony,
ridiculously
the movie
over
was
the
terrible.
top. The movie was great. What are you
No,
talking
the
about?
movie was terrible if he had been allowed to make the movie how he wanted to.
Oh yeah, it would have been just a
But
Godzilla
then
movie in the water.
divine intervention stepped in and blew up his robot. So then he had to
thank you.
rely on actual, suspense and tension and shit. And that's what made the movie so good. Imagine in your brain, Doc, if you were watching a movie and the robot shark showed up like right off the bat.
Oh yeah, it would have been
And
terrible
was
because
in
it
the
looked
movie all
awful.
the time.
It was like
everything. Yeah.
when you finally see it at the end, you can forgive it because you're like really invested in the movie up to
This
that
Right.
point.
this
But
feels like a complete rant I've gone on more than once that I'm hearing spoken back to me. It's very entertaining, gentlemen. Quick, tell me how Superman's better than Batman. I want to hear.
You know what, Bear? You should just sit there and be happy we agreed with you.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, I was so worried that my life was without meaning, but then I met James and he agreed with me, and now I have purpose. Thank you, Jesus.
That's what I'm talking about. In pounds or kilos, James. I gotta go back
James
home.
unironically just accepts it. Detects no sarcasm. Doesn't care.
No,
With my
there was
paper.
sarcasm there. I just was like, I'm not.
No
It is a
sarcasm,
technical
only
victory.
praise. Clearly, my name was said positively.
I'm all like, ain't nobody got time for this.
Nobody got time for you.
So, I'll talk about your beautiful art. I'll talk about whichever games we're playing.
Oh,
But if you get sarcastic at me, I'm gonna like,
Know what else was saved by divine intervention? The Lord of the Rings. Because if you look into some of the stuff he wanted to do to it, that he wound up not being able to, it was almost like the ghost of Tolkien. Tolkien came in and prevented shit from happening, like having Arwen go with them.
he
the
did let his
Sauron
wife
battle
talk
at
him
the
into
end.
having Arwen in the movie, though.
I accept that because it is an important part of the story. But it's in the back.
And also, it'd be really hard to explain to the fucking audience who Glorfindel is, and then have him replaced by Legolas, which is why Ralph Bakshi also just made the Glorfindel scene on the road be fucking Legolas, so that way they
Right.
was like, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But
a
you know
radically
what?
different medium, so you have to
The
do a lot of stuff.
Tolkien
But
fans would know immediately on sight exactly who Glorfindel was.
yeah, but that's
Which
like
one?
yeah,
There are
one
two
there.
Glorfindels.
Huh?
Which one? There are two Glorfindels.
yeah. There's the one from the Silmarillion, the elder.
He
one
got killed
who-
and then
who
he got
died.
raised back. He died fighting the king of the Balrogs, and then the
Hey,
big
Hunger.
guys up top reincarnated his ass.
That's not the
There's
same
one
Glorfindel.
Glorfindel.
No, there are two Glorfindels. Hang on.
Yeah, a lot of the names got
I'm waiting
Yes,
for
it's
you
two
to say,
glorfindels,
"What, you don't
but
know about the
later,
Glorfindel
hang on,
kind?"
listen, James. Yes, there are two glorfindels, but Tolkien later decided they were the same elf reincarnated. He retro fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Retconned. He
Oh,
retconned.
okay. He retconned him back
But
alive.
originally, when he wrote them, they were two different guys.
I'll take your word for it, brother. Makes
Anyway,
sense.
it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, Tolkien was a fantastic descriptive writer. Not so much on excitement, let's be honest.
I don't know. When Boromir died, I think I shed tears.
Yeah, not in the book.
No, the book.
I never shed tears for that book. That book was too wordy. I
I
like
have
it.
a
It's a
great
good book,
imagination, though.
but it's really oh yeah, mine's horrible. I have the worst imagination possible. Clearly.
Not biting.
Then don't fish, bitch.
I wasn't fishing either.
Yes, you did. You were taking a little sideways side eye shot at me about your
I was
imagination.
not.
I have a great imagination. Oh.
I do.
Oh.
But I was not taking a
By the way,
shot
this
at
is
you.
exactly what it feels like, James, so you were clear.
You know what?
That
You're
little
like
urge
that
you have to
crab that
punch
you
me in my
see-
face
you're
right
like
now,
the
that
crab in memes that people always take pictures of running down a sidewalk with a knife.
this is literally the feeling, that feeling where you want to just fucking punch me in my mouth as hard as you can right now. This is what you do to me on the regular, just so we're clear.
No, I don't want to punch. Why would I want to punch you? You're my
Yeah,
brother.
look at that smile. Look at that. He's almost at his smug smirk. Look at him. He's almost there.
That's my bro. Not gonna punch him.
Yeah, it's hard to
I'm guard
believe
the link's
the
out
same
there,
person.
so I don't know what you're doing.
It's hard to
your
believe the same
bad
person
self.
made the Lord of the Rings and those Hobbit movies.
But
Those
dear
were so
Swamp German, as much as I love you, the metric system is for dweebs. Everyone knows that countries that actually get shit done use imperial.
freedom units, we're calling them now.
Right. Well, that's what we measure. You measure temperature in freedom units. So if it's 65 degrees out, it's 65 freedom units. Now, the rest of the world somehow got tricked into adopting that commie bullshit, but we're not having it.
Yeah, I'm fine with metric measurements, except for Celsius. I cannot get my head around that.
Yeah,
Because I remember they taught us, because we were expecting in like I think 1980 it was supposed to be. So I remember early on in school, they taught us metrics pretty heavily because we were expecting to switch over.
Yeah,
and then it wound up not
Bill
happening.
wanted us to go to the metric system.
What's so hard about metric?
Nothing if you've been raised with it your entire life.
I wasn't.
But
remember, we started with imperial, and then like by the time I got to like grade 6, they started switching us over to metric, which made my generation's brains were like, he's 193 centimeters tall. I don't know what the fuck that means. Oh, he's 6'3". Oh, I understand now. Thanks. Oh, it's only about 10K up this road. Completely understood. Like, it's so fucking weird.
Well, if it's 10K up the road, it means it's about 8 miles.
Because I remember when I was over in England, everybody like used like metrics for anything official, but like conversationally, they still all used imperial, or at least the older people did.
Yeah. Like you ask an Englishman about weights, and they're like, "Oh, it's about 5 stones."
Yeah, the stone thing was like, I had to constantly look it up. I think it's 14 pounds.
14.
I do understand that something had to be done with the measurement system because the British were just out of their damn tree. And if you really want to lose your mind, look up like Elizabethan coin exchanges. Because they've got like 16 different coins, and there's like half pennies and quarter pennies and whole pennies.
Yes, I need this to be 15 royal penises in length.
And it's just like, how did they get anything done? But they did. But yeah, for some reason, most of the world, except for my second favorite country and America, adopted metric.
Really? Your second favorite country is North Korea?
No, it's Liberia. I carry a lot of guilt in my heart for Liberia.
Why would you do to Liberia?
We created it and then we just let it go to shit. And I feel like since we created it, it's practically the 51st state that we should not have let warlords take over and start eating people. But
Cannibalism is very bad PR.
it is. And the
Sure,
problem
sure,
is
people are tasty, but it just looks terrible.
yeah, the problem is that all of the brothers we sent over to run the place eventually got old and got voted out by the natives. And then the natives just didn't know how to upkeep any infrastructure or run anything or whatever, right? So the whole country went from being like a place you would go on vacation to a place you wouldn't want to go if somebody was trying to pay you to go there. And I feel really bad about it. And even more crazy is every time we get into a war or something, Liberia offers to help. The government of Liberia is always like, "Dear U.S., we will send a platoon to help," and we're like, "Don't worry about it, bro."
Thank
Because
you.
I mean, they're going to send 32 Africans with like beat up AKs. It's like whatever. But at the same time, I feel like if there's any country not in the Western Hemisphere we should be involved with, I think it's Liberia. And again, because we created the country. So I feel like we got a responsibility. But, you know, other people might think I'm just being dumb. So whatever. Either way. Oh, Haas. Brother, avenge me.
Brother.
Brother.
I got a few minutes. I got stuff simmering.
Brother, let us go forth and enforce the will of the God Emperor.
Exactly. And fuck Liberia.
And Father Christmas.
Dude, that is uncalled for.
What did he say?
He knows what he said.
I didn't hear it though. What did he
I
say?
said fuck Liberia. If it's not America and Canada, I don't care.
Well, thank you for including us in your.
Well, you're our hat.
Yeah, you're our basement. You're where we put all our shit we don't need.
No,
That's Mexico for
the basement.
No. Mexico is the sub basement.
Mexico is the hole in the backyard.
Right?
No, that's
You
the
can't talk
Caribbean.
shit about the
Okay,
basement.
fair enough.
It's outside, right? It's open air. You get some wind.
exactly, James. I agree. James says the basement is where you go to play D&D with your friends. So we're the cool part.
We're the coolest part of the house.
And Bears
Hey, just kind of musty.
out in the attic.
Got a lot of shit in there that you don't need. You're kind of like, what the fuck is this?
There's like a
I don't
giant
know.
ping pong table, but that's okay because it's covered with miniatures and dice.
And Bears are like,
What is this? What is this thing I just found in the corner? I don't know. They used it once upon a time for farming or something. I don't know.
Bears in the attic saying,
I
Mother
could have said
dearest.
something so awful.
Roll initiative. They used it for farming, but don't worry about it. Roll initiative.
he used it for farming. Now he just helps clean up the house.
See, I had the good taste not to go there.
I'm going to
I
tell you
thought
about it.
it.
Wow. I'll call Shelly and I'll be like, look, just so you know, certain people are making certain jokes about certain things. You might need to have a talk with your dad.
Do I look scared?
What is up,
Hey, Double
homie?
D.
How you doing?
Double D. A friend of ours, pretty much everybody on the panel,
Hello.
named Angry Tabletop Nerd, Holy Diver, has put out interest about being on your stream with you one time.
Who?
Holy Diver. He does his shows Angry Tabletop
He's
Nerd.
mostly on Rumble, I think,
Oh, okay.
because YouTube hates him.
Yeah, he's a very based tabletop nerd. He's like,
Your beard's coming in good.
yeah, it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what you been up to?
Just working on a video. It's just a clip from when we did the 13th Age, like
We're
all that
getting a
shit,
double
all that
D
shitty art.
Getting a double D video.
Probably tomorrow at 11.
I bought the original 13th Age, bro. It sucked too.
Oh, you didn't like it? I like the escalation die mechanic. Well, I can't say I like it. It's interesting to me. I'd almost like to. Have you ever played it, James?
No, I read it and I was like, yeet.
Yeah, I want to say the art is like noticeably worse in the second edition. It is worse, but like I was going back through the first edition PDF, and it wasn't that great to begin with. And as far as the rules, it's just standard die 20 stuff, except for that escalation.
The guy who wrote 13th Age was what's his name, Tweet, and he was one of the guys that was heavily involved with third edition.
Yeah, Jonathan Tweet. Yeah.
And then they, of course, did what they always do, which is, well, the game's out, you're all fired.
Makes
we'll
sense.
keep two of you around, but the rest of you kick rocks. I mean, that's what they did to Monty Cook too. They're like, "Hey, thanks for third edition. Kick rocks."
He ended up on his feet.
Yeah, better probably.
Oh, a lot better.
A lot of people love Numenera.
Scyther system.
How's your weather out there?
Man, but
Weather is cold. It's supposed to warm up though.
Man, it's been here in Tennessee. It's been colder in Florida than it's been in Tennessee lately.
Yeah,
It's
we
so
had a
cold
nasty cold snap here for a bit.
yeah, we did. Where I was, it was 49 degrees yesterday.
We're in the 60s.
Jeez.
It's so cold up where Double D is. He can't even go get like a peanut butter and a freaking marshmallow sandwich and a half gallon of that freaking sweet tea they all drink.
Do you want to know what the temperature is here right now?
Sure. And freedom units.
In freedom units. -4.
Oof.
Oh, that's
so listen to you guys whine about your 40 and your 60. It's like,
I just said
Jesus Christ. For a country that brags how fucking tough you are, you do not handle winter well.
I'm pissed off that it's so hot up here because I didn't move out of Florida to have a Florida winter.
Yeah,
I
that's
want
fair.
snow.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair, our city wins the Golden Snow Globe like every couple of years. It's always between us, Buffalo, and Syracuse. As far
Buffalo is no joke.
Fuck Buffalo.
we get the same weather as Buffalo, often worse.
Where are you?
I didn't
Erie.
think you were near the Great Lake.
So you get lake effect snow.
Yeah, because Buffalo gets that lake effect snow, and it's
when it's fucking crazy.
When it's warm, like when the lake hasn't frozen and there's like a heavy snowfall, like it's well, you get what we had like last Thanksgiving, which is like literally like 6 feet of snow. I mean, it was just incredible.
Reminds me of my time in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, plain snow is a whole other beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plain snow is, and that shit'll blow for like 3 days, So like it's like it makes like mountains, dunes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Look at that black beauty.
I remember the first time I saw snow dunes, I was like, "What the fuck is this?
Is that a Maine Coon bear? Is that a Maine
God,
Coon?
no! This is just a black piece of fucking cat. And he's massive. He's a big boy.
Looks like
His brother's
ours.
big too.
We have a female black one. Yeah.
Well, he is my non-binary. Was it my? Hang on,
Misty?
my what the fuck is it? Oh, I have the term for it and I forgot it now. It's Misty. Gender fluid, non-binary, trans cat. That's what this is. and the story behind that is really fast. I'll do it as fast as I can. When I got him and his brother as kittens, I was told they were 2 males. Took them to the vet to get their first checkup. She goes, "This is a female. Look, no sack." I'm like, "Holy fuck. All right, gender fluid. Here we go." Took him back 3 months later for the next checkup. The different vet. She's like, "Okay, so I got a boy and a girl." She's like, "This is a boy." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" The last vet said it's a girl. We look and there's a scrotum. We're like, "What the fuck?" All right, so now you're fucking non-binary. Got it. Took them to get fixed. Come back to pick them up. How to go? Oh, Beans is fine, but we have to charge you an extra $50 for Misty. Why? Because his testicles never dropped, so we had to open up like a female to go in and get his testicles out. So now he's a trans cat. This cat is fucking amazing. This cat is 2015 and a cat.
You're gonna come home one day. He's gonna be dyed blue.
I'm a little surprised that it's showing itself off. She hides a lot of the time.
I still treat him like a boy. It. Well, okay, if we're talking about it, fine. It. Don't be hateful.
They did the same thing with one of our cats, by the way, a bear. Like we took it in. They told us it was a girl. Like, oh, let's get a girl cat. So we took it in, yeah. And I kept at the vet. I'm like, yeah, she, and he's feeling under there, nodding. He's like, you mean he, right? What? Like, oh, this is a boy cat. Yeah. Only there was no like after that there was no confusion. It was definitely
No, I get you. No, the funny thing was I had just gotten them after I had to put my female that I had for 12 years. She had to be put down, and then a few months later my buddy's like, oh, I got you 2 cats, I'm gonna give you. I'm like, I don't want cats. He's like, no, here, look at the pictures, you fucker, and then I got them, and I'm like, well, thank God they're boys, because I professed high into the winds I'm never getting another female cat again, only boys, blah blah blah. So when I had to make the announcement after the first vet trip, well, it looks like Smokey, who's now Misty, missing testicles, is a fucking girl, my entire Facebook was everyone I know laughing at me, just laughing their balls off at me, like, you got fucking female cat. You swore you'd never get one again. And I, whatever, fuck.
They're so aloof. Female.
And then as the story unfolded, it just became comedy fodder for all my friends. This fucking cat.
It's a mixed bag. They're usually less friendly than the boys, but every now and then you get like a super, super affectionate female.
Cats are great because they're the only creature that, like, you had your door open and a cat came in and just hung out. You're just like, oh, well, I guess I have a cat now. And you'd go get food and litter.
Yep.
Yeah. That's happened to that happened to us. That's how we got our first one. I like dogs too. I mean, a lot of people are like, are you a dog guy? Are you a cat guy? I like them both. I mean, I don't know.
I have a Pomeranian, so I think that makes me both.
Yeah, it is a little.
It's a halfway step between
kind of a cat, but also a dog. So what I was thinking of, and I don't know if it's the correct one, Double D, is Milo's. Milo's sweet tea.
Milo's.
Like everyone in eastern Pennsylvania, in coal country, they're all carrying around these half gallons of this fucking tea.
Here, like the Arizona sweet tea was.
But apparently you can only get it in Pennsylvania. It's like,
yeah, we have Milo's at the store here, and you can find it in some places in Florida.
You know what you never find anywhere is Big Red.
Oh, I can go to the store right now and get Big Red.
Well, dude, you're like 15 minutes from Kentucky, so that's.
And it's all Big Red's so popular in Texas.
Big Red, not the bubble gum. It's a type of soft drink, and apparently,
Big Red is so popular in Texas that you can get it in drive-throughs and freaking fountains.
Okay, I gotta go, guys. I gotta finish prepping up for the game. Good seeing you.
I gotta bounce to and figure out supper. So it was nice seeing you all. Have a great day.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
You guys
I'm bouncing in a few minutes for dinner too. I've got the rice of ricing.
They're able to
rice
to the hand.
I watched your video about. You put it out like yesterday. It was a members only. Or was it?
Yeah. That was just a pre-game stream. I literally had nothing to do, so I'm like, I got about an hour, so I'm like, I'll just fire it up.
Was that a members only? I was the second one on that video.
You were?
Yeah. I ended up sleeping through. Plus, I've traveled so much. I've been to Georgia like 3 times in like the last month.
What are you doing up there? Pleasure or business or?
Neither. Let's just call it obligations.
Gotcha.
So, no, I don't mind telling you. I mean, my sister-in-law built a new house way out in the freaking boonies. We had to see that. Then someone got married, and then someone else died.
I'm sorry.
So, last year was just a weird year of births and deaths and people coming and going.
This vape is so good. You know why? It's
because
why
you suck. That's why.
Like you're enjoying it there.
It's white. It works well.
Yeah, I know what you mean, James. Yeah, it's like we had our first granddaughter born this year, but my mom died. Actually, the anniversary of my mom's death is tomorrow.
Oh, that sucks, bro. Sorry
to hear it. But
well, like I said, she lived a pretty good life, and it was time. So many lose their parents, so young, and we got ours till she was 87. So it's hard to complain, but still, it's weird how much you think about her. before she died, it would always be like, oh yeah, let's go up to mom and dad's, for like what's it. And now it's like I think about her like all the time. It's really
Yeah,
weird.
I got a doctor's appointment on the 7th, so I'm heading up to my parents on the 10th.
Nice.
I'll go up there and spend like a week, maybe 2.
How are you doing health wise, Hungar?
I got shingles. Yay.
Oh geez, painful.
That's why you just saw me eat oxycodone.
Oh,
Now, I thought that was just because you're from freaking Appalachia and you're hooked to oxycodones like everyone else.
No,
did you get the vaccine for it?
I don't get vaccines, man.
Well,
Like
I normally don't, but there are a few I get, and people keep saying like, yeah, if there's one you're gonna get the shingles because you do not want to get shingles. So.
I don't trust them. They put
Dude,
nanos
the flu vaccine, the pneumonia vaccine, hepatitis B, I've had those things so much in my life. Forget about it. When I was in the army, it was like once a month we were getting freaking something.
I haven't had the flu. I haven't had the flu in 5 years. It's like, why would I get something that's maybe 30%? They have to guess which strain it's going to be.
I've had
not.
the flu twice, and the first time I ever had the flu was when I got a vaccine.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Well,
You'll
sometimes
get a
you
dose
will.
of it. Yeah,
Well, you will.
they'll say like, oh, well, but it's a minor, and it's like, well, or you could just not get the vaccine and not get it at all. So.
Or get it and it be way worse. But
yeah,
in the military, you get vaccinated. I was in 18th Airborne Corps, which is RDF unit, but I was actually in 24th Infantry Division, but attached to.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're RDF unit, which means anywhere in the world in 18 hours, it's like once a month you had to go down the line and and then we'd spend the rest of the day punching each other in the arm because we were 17, 18-year-old idiots, running around.
What hurts, don't it?
So the other video, see, I have been missing your videos, but it's like I said, I've been traveling a lot.
I'm always there, brother.
I know Hungar's the tip of the spear.
He is,
he's
boy.
number one.
He's
I love you, buddy. Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate
holding the line, but were you advertising or making one about the lady who did a Kickstarter?
Oh, yeah. Raised like $300,000.
Yeah, that's the Afrofuturist one. That's Tanya DePass, Into the Motherlands. Yeah.
Oh, so when somebody said, would I run into the Motherlands like a couple of days ago, that's what that is.
Yeah. Good luck. It's vaporware, but
Is it like the one that the dude that claimed to be Native American, even though obviously he's probably not? And like in the setting at some point in prehistoric history, like Europe got hit by a meteorite and all the white people died.
That's Coyote and Crow, I think.
It's
like,
wow.
This one was this one was like niggas in space.
More or less, yeah. It's
well, I was just saying,
it's so racist. It's like they go to it's like only black people because they come from Africa. And they go to a planet.
The Coyote people too. Coyote, the hyena
talk.
Well, the hyena people, yeah. Well, those are the natives, but boy, are those people in for a surprise. When they see who moved into the neighborhood.
Property value dropped.
Yeah. For once in your life, you're going to feel sorry for a hyena.
So basically, they're ignoring the most reverend Prophet Elijah Muhammad, and they're saying Yaqub never existed.
I guess.
This
thing is a scam. You have to understand, like, maybe they had an intention at one point to do it, but I don't think they have that anymore. Like, they have nobody there to write it. Like, Tanya DePass is just a Chicago grifter.
Right.
She's just an old school hustler. Like she'd be, if she wasn't in RPG, she'd be doing 3-card money on the street corner. And then B. David Walters, he's just like one of those celebrity players, DMs. These guys can't write a system. Are you kidding me?
What got me about their little shit they're talking about on their panel is like, why ain't you got a brother? Why ain't you got a POC playing in your D&D game? Because I ain't got anybody who wants to play my D&D game as a
Yeah.
Oh, the got to catch them all Pokemon thing.
yeah.
they do.
You know, I'm 100% sure because me and James we've been at conventions playing BattleTech and D&D, and you know, some black kid comes up and is like, "Hey, can I play with you guys?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell, come on, let's play." It's like it's
Yeah.
a freaking game. It's like football. We let
Well,
everybody.
you remember Eric, right?
Yeah, but we're
Yeah,
not going to go.
I used to play 40K with Eric all the time, and then I lost touch with him. He just vanished.
Yeah, I'm not going to go search around all the game stores and shit in Knoxville trying to find somebody to
You ain't
invite
hung
to a
there.
game.
Hold your balls. I ran into Eric like 10 years later. He is a doctor.
Yeah.
And I ran into him when I became a firefighter. I sat in ER. He was in there. I was like, Eric. He's like, bro. He ran up and gave me a big hug. I'm like, where you been, man? He's like, well, went to medical school, and that was all I did. I was like, okay.
Those guys are busy. Yeah, when they were,
Yeah, he's a good
there was
kid.
a D&D player who became a doctor, like in our group, and yeah, he just had to. He was just so busy, just doing shit. Yeah, but there's like a brother at our friendly local game store. I mean, it's mainly more of like wargaming stuff, you know, like Warhammer and like bolt action and
I'm
stuff. But
here.
there's a brother. I mean, it's like nobody. They'd have you think like, oh my god, he must have been discriminated against. Like, no, everybody was just like.
We're nerds.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's in the he was in the military and all that stuff too. So
James froze. Look at him. That's a hell of a face, ain't it?
yeah, you are frozen. Oh, there you go. You're sort of back.
He's all like, "Brr." I'm frozen or James is frozen?
No, James is. Dang, James, you are glitching.
Florida internet's great.
Get that fiber optic, bro. Oh, there he goes. All right, so next on the show is
Do you guys like saying slurs?
let's get his channel in trouble. Hard R. Nah. There he is.
There he is. What's your least favorite race, Double D? I don't like the Tour de France.
Mine
Tour
too.
de France.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got supposedly 5G and all that bullshit, and my internet's just sketchy as hell sometimes.
You know who won the first Tour de France?
Haas.
Germany. 7 physics.
Haas. Seriously,
Many
I'm gonna
times,
block you.
That was funny.
James,
But we're
do you
not here to have fun, like cracking stupid jokes. We're trying to talk.
James, do you have do you do Wi-Fi when you're streaming, or do you have a cable
Yes.
connection? You do Wi-Fi?
That's why you freeze.
Yeah, that's why you're freezing.
The Wi-Fi is right over there.
Can't you just run a line to it? Just get a Ethernet
I
cable?
mean, I could move it, but I don't know if I care enough.
There you go.
You could just
Fair enough.
If I were putting on a big production like how you do and having guests and all that, like I probably would care more. But I haven't even monetized my channel.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You know,
But
I'm
you
like,
have-
If it
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
like really bad, all I'm saying is if it gets really bad, just buy a big cable, like a long cable, and just hook it up via Ethernet, and that'll stabilize the connection pretty good. And
You
won't
have
have
guests on every show.
Bear and Doc and stuff like that. Those aren't guests. Timmy is not a guest,
Am I a guest?
but you
Yeah,
kind of are. Yeah, you're definitely a guest because you come on like once a month. So, you know, your appearance is kind of special. Everyone else's appearance, that's just me and the bros hanging out,
Yeah.
which we do all the time. Like it's kind of a big deal when Cody drops in. Timmy almost always is here, so he's basically my Andy Richter. And Hungar, my brother, who I love so much.
I was gonna say he's your Ed McMahon.
There's reasons he's been kicked out of so many online role-playing games.
I was never kicked out. I bowed out because I was being a douche for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I've rectified that situation.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
But
I
so
have. Why you always throw me under the bus every time I come on?
I don't know
Ooh,
if
I
you
like
recognize that guy.
Oh wow.
That's Motor, the son of Loki.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it was in that horror movie where the hikers are like hiking across Sweden. They go to a
Oh,
forest and get all jacked up.
is that the one with the big troll in it? The big giant troll?
That's the giant troll thing. That
Oh, that was
forces,
okay. Okay.
it forces them to worship it
It's been a
because
long time since I saw that movie. but
yeah, I have a 50-foot cat 5 line running from the router out to the gaming room. See, no
Get
one
him.
of consequence.
Hey, no one. What's up?
What movie was that from? Who are you? No one of oh, Princess Bride. Anyway, yeah. See, there's some people. It's like if I'd never get to talk to them, then it's more important to me to talk to them. It's not like these other guys aren't my bros. They absolutely are, but you
I
know.
appreciate the appreciate.
And this
always
me
the
yelling at
invitation.
Haas, this is not new. I do this every single time he's on the show.
Not
Literally
every single time.
single time.
Last time you didn't.
Well,
I'm just trying to stay consistent, bro.
yeah, I think last time we were talking about something. And anyway, so
You liking Hyperborea, James? Huh?
I absolutely love the setting of Hyperborea.
Check out his meme channel on his Discord. There's
I
like a
post some of
thousand
them
memes
on Double D's.
about Hyperborea with James.
Like this one guy did he took the cover of NWA Straight Out of Compton and he photoshopped me into it.
Oh,
And
jeez.
then it's like NWA Straight Out of Hyperborea. And I'm there in the UK ball cat just being like,
Yeah.
now the rule set, which I just so happen to have
Oh, yeah.
sitting by here,
Got mine right
is
behind
pretty
me.
much just a modified AD&D.
I gotta go finish dinner.
Okay, bro. I'll yell at you later. I bought you Rust, by the way. It's
Yeah,
on
I got that this morning. I tried it out. I can't wait till the boys start playing with me because that's just difficult. I got killed like 4 times,
I told you.
but it's fun.
Okay.
I'm
See
going
you,
to get
buddy.
my own server.
So it's AD&D with like maybe 5 or 6 major changes.
I got
Yeah.
One that I really love is the alignment.
James, I have the book. James, I have it and I've run it.
Okay, so I love the alignment part.
As
I
they say
like
in
how-
France.
I thought you said you were leaving.
I gotta say my standard goodbye. As they say in France, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum al-salam.
Hakuna Matata.
Okay.
Inshallah. Anyway, the alignment part I love. I love the fact that you get your base stacko, but then you get your fighting skill.
Mhm.
So you don't have to worry about changing thaco. You just keep adding to your fighting. I mean, so this rule set is great, but what I really love is the setting.
Isn't that crazy? I had Jeff on the show a while back. I don't know if you got to see that when I had him on.
I did.
Yeah, he's just like, oh yeah, this is Earth. This is our solar system, but you're actually on one of the moons of Saturn. And I'm just like, whoa. He's like, yeah, this is at a time when like the sun is a red giant, and I'm like, oh my lord, I'm in. Like that is so
it's
cool.
Millions of years in the future.
Yeah.
And technically you're on a moon around Saturn, but the moon that you're on is actually the Arctic Circle that had been ripped off of the Earth and transported into orbit around Saturn.
Yeah, there's some fantasy, but I'm just saying, just the conceit of like, yeah, this is the future. Yeah, the sun is a red giant. You're kind of near Saturn. To me, that just blew me away, and I'm like, that is super cool.
And I love, which according to DM Bloodworth, who I trust because he talks to the guy, he's going to redo the Hyperborea Gazetteer, the Atlas, to where it's the Atlas plus the lore from the DM's book.
Oh, okay.
So that you'll actually be able to open this thing up, and when you see Fields of Vol, you'll actually be able to figure out what the hell that is.
Jeff is a super, super cool dude. He reached out to me. I don't know if you know, this hat is a Hyperborea hat. And
I see that.
He's just like,
Um,
he just said, he's like, hey, I really like, just you shout me out. He's like, I'd love to just send you a hat. I'm like, absolutely, brother. He's such a nice guy.
Well, that's why I backed his Kickstarter like to the hilt when it very first came out for third edition. So I've got the like fake leather ones with the number and
Oh.
the signature and all that. And then I had the original third edition, but I gave them to my brother-in-law because I bought the newest version because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, having read it, I mean, there's nothing I can really tell you about it except I really like the setting. And if you ever play it, right, warn your players, like if you ever decide to run it.
Well, I've run it once. I ran it at Con on the Cob.
Warn the players if you run it for real for like your players, Mouse and Rogan and crew, that the basic classes in a lot of ways are better than the freaking subclasses. Like the basic cleric is better than any cleric subclass.
Okay.
Right off the bat. But that's just me, but I did some weird shit. Like in Cremorium, I did the Cats of Ulthar, but in Cremorium. So when the players arrived off the ship to the capital city, right, and they noticed there's a lot of cats, and then they were warned under no circumstances can they harm a cat. And so they thought that was really weird. And then they found out by talking to people and all that, like on certain days of the month when the second moon is closest to Hyperborea, the cats will climb up on the peaks of the roofs and jump to the moon. And no one's quite sure what they do, but there's a temple of Phozon, which is Bast, So, and my players thought that was just like really good, They're like, that's so interesting. And then you have to explain how everything looks red. And no matter where you are, if you look up in the sky, you can see Saturn. But actual Sol is just a red disk. And a lot of the time, it barely comes above the horizon. So, like in Alaska, it comes up and kind of skims and goes down.
Yeah, see, I'm a little bit more of a like literalist. Like the whole disc thing to me, I can't wrap my head around. So the only thing I would change is probably like you're on one of the moons and it's like a regular moon. It maybe is a weakness of mine, but I like things to kind of make sense, but I also am not going to impugn anybody, for going.
Well, I will say this one thing, bro. And at no time in the lore does it ever say how thick that disc is. And apparently there's a whole damn underworld down there. Yeah. And like the big mountain at the center there, Vermithoan, there's like 2 or 3 of the great old ones that live under that thing. Like Tasagwa, at like Naka, at the Spider God, and another one. And it's like, so yes, it's kind of a sort of a concave hex. But how thick is it?
Right. I like that he has the Thing as a villain or like a monster in it. He literally has the Thing, which he verified. And then I asked him before I ran the game. I'm like, hey, there's this capital where you say there's factories and stuff like that. I actually reached out to Jeff. I'm like, what do they make there? What are they burning? He said, oh yeah, they're burning like peat and stuff like that. Can't remember what he said exactly what they were making, but he knew exactly what I was talking about though.
Yeah, it's Cremorium, and it's the largest port.
Yes.
And they harvest iron ore out of the swamps around it, and also peat, and also just like a day's ride, there's a whole damn lake of oil. And
I must have missed that.
Gold,
Texas tea.
Exactly. So Cremorium has massive like factories that are just constantly smelting and refining, pig iron into steel, and then shipping it off to wherever. One of the adventures, the players actually have to go to Port Greeley to find out why they haven't been sending lobster to Cremorium.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
not going to run it, but
Yeah.
if you've read Lovecraft, you kind of know what's going on. So
I like I like how the spells are kind of crafted for the setting. I think that's like in all these OSR games. I think that's how you differentiate yourself, is kind of how you tweak the spells and all that. Although I would definitely make like the power word kill. Just turn that right into the draw forth the heart, which was a spell from the old Conan die 20 game. You just hold your hand out and say a few words, and if they miss their roll or you make your roll, whatever it is, the guy's heart bursts from his chest and comes into your hand. That's the best way to do that, because they're going to die anyway. So it's like it's all flavor and as to how you do it.
It's like if you don't, in a very powerful way, invoke the protection of Shiva, you are going to die.
Yeah.
I'm not Shiva, I'm not Shiva, and that guy's like, bah! Anyway, yeah, it's really the setting. And I had thought about I was going to just quit running games anyway. I was like feeling like bored with everything. And somebody, I think it was Shadow, was like, well, have a look at some stuff that you haven't looked at. And I've owned this, like I said, for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally just picked it up and started reading it. And I was like, all right, yeah, I think this is going to be the thing,
Yeah.
I love the fact that neutral just means self-serving.
As it always should be. Yeah.
Right. It's not, because I hate it when somebody's playing a druid and they're like, well, I did some good stuff. Now I got to go out and murder a kid. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know,
what?
yeah. It's the dumbest thing. Yeah.
That is the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah. I wouldn't have even, I knew about the game, but I don't even know if I'd have, maybe I eventually had gotten it, but until I ran into Jeff at Origins, just kind of wander in the hall, I'm like, oh shit, there's, Hyperborea. And then I got to meet him, and like we talked, off camera quite a bit, and he just seemed like such a super guy. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of yours. And then I'm like, yeah, you want to come on the show? And he's like, I'd love to. And it's like, to me, that means a lot. When someone is willing to do that, they're essentially, casting aside any hope of like mainstream, recognition, because, how people like me are persona non grata.
Well, look,
industry. So
all you do is tell the truth.
Yeah.
And if people can't handle the truth, then I mean, F them.
Yeah. That's kind of how
it's not like you're on there like besmirching someone's character. You're just saying Will Wheaton's a bitch. We all know he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I just clambered up on my wife and wept. It's like, one, his wife's like 25 years older than he is. And two, you admitted that like on camera. I mean, man card revoked. Just, And he's my age, isn't he? Isn't he like 50?
Yeah, he's I think he's like a few years younger than me, so I think he's in his early 50s. He's maybe like two years younger than me.
Climbing up on his 70-year-old wife and weeping.
I don't know if she's 70. I think she might be a little older than him. I don't think she's like 20 years older.
Yeah, well, I was being hyperbolic,
as you are allowed to be on your own channel, especially.
Well, I mean, you know.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to head out here, buddy. Chicken soup is ready downstairs. So.
Nice.
Yeah, Mrs. D.
Chicken soup going.
Makes a good pot.
Well, you know what they say. When a man eats a chicken, one of them is sick.
Ooh.
That's from Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh,
when a poor man eats a chicken, one of them is sick.
If I were a rich man, it's been a while.
Topol, not Zero Musto, but Topol, from like he was in Flash Gordon 2, looks just like my dad. They could.
Oh, really?
They even got the same teeth.
Oh, wow.
That's
okay.
Crazy.
Look at him in a whole different light now. Yeah.
Well, because my dad's Russian Jew.
Yeah.
And they fled, and
yeah,
so he might have come from the same village.
Take
care. Enjoy your soup. I'm glad you dropped in.
Yep. Good. Always good to talk to you, buddy. I'll, like I said, I'll probably pop in at some point in the next month or so.
Well, hopefully my life is going to calm the F down, and there'll be a lot less, 16-hour drives here and there and everywhere. And I'll be able to actually get some of this plastic, metal, resin bullshit painted. So far, the players, I can tell you this. I don't know how Mouse or Rogan would feel, or your wife, but my players are liking Hyperborea. Like, my wife is playing a Viking berserker who worships Thor. So she's like persona non grata with all the other Vikings because they all only worship Ymir. And it's like, you know, they're liking it. But
well, Mrs. D played in the Con on the Cob game. She liked it well enough, you know, but it's only a one shot, so you know.
Yeah. But then again, my players also bought me this mug that says I'm the greatest DM ever.
I'm sure it's true. I'm sure.
Well,
later, buddy. We'll talk
later.
Catch up later. Yep. See ya.
All right. Yeah, I mean, like Double D said, and I love that he dropped in to say hi. He's such a good guy. I mean, I remember watching his videos a couple years ago, and I actually made a reaction to one of his videos and was like, this guy's cool. And I knew the first time I saw Diversity and Dragons video, I knew that guy was going to go somewhere because he's organized, he's goal-oriented, he knows what he's doing, and he makes it happen. Whereas I'm just some fat old grognard that talks about games and sits in this room. I mean, so the fact that I've hit 3,000 subscribers is really amazing. And every month I'll get like +5, -4, you know, and then -3, and then -2, and then +10. I have no idea what's going on with, but I don't care. I just like talking to you guys. But Squirrel Hermit, I watched a Talanian interview. It wasn't Double D, it was way before. And just based on how he came off in that interview is why I went whole hog into the Kickstarter, because he come off as just a really cool dude. And I'm like, this guy seems like a really cool dude. And he's got a product that I might actually like. And so it's really weird that I've owned all this stuff for so long and just now started picking it up. You know what I mean? You would think I'd have been like but I've been running OSC for like freaking years and years now, you know, since it came out back when it was the BX, whatever they called it. But anyway, Satya, great to see you, homie. But yeah, so Squirrel Hermit, that's the thing. Now, I haven't contacted him or anything other than to actually buy modules from him. But I didn't contact him. I just went to his page and bought modules. So I picked up Rats in the Walls, which I think is a must-have if you want to really get your players into the whole what is Hyperborea 3rd edition. Yeah, Rats in the Walls is it. And on top of that, it's actually got 3 adventures in it. A lot of handouts, a lot of maps and stuff. So you could run, it's for around 4 to 6 players, 1st, 2nd level, it says. But if you run all 3 adventures, the players are going to leave Cremorium at like level 5 or around, which is pretty good because they need to. They need to have some levels behind them and know what they're doing before they start roaming the wilderness. Because let me tell you, the wilderness of Hyperborea will kill you. You know, you can like be walking through a swamp and sink into like a big pool of crude oil that you didn't see, and you know, or tar or something, you know, and it'd be just like the San Andreas tar pit, except starring you, you know, and that's also not counting the fact that things like this exist, and big ass mammoths. You know, woolly mammoths wandering around, and then, you know, pigs and orcs, which are half demon, and like all this stuff going on, right? So, yeah, for me, it's all about the setting. I love the setting. I would run this setting even if I were still running OSC Advanced. As long as I had the lore and the map, it would work. Which is why I'm really glad, like I was telling Double D, the man is coming out with an actual gazetteer. And it's going to have the maps, but it's going to have all the lore too. You got it before Christmas? Well, I mean, if you like AD&D and you like weird ass shit, like you're a fan of Dunsany and Smith and Lovecraft and Howard, you'll probably like this a lot. Now, like Double D said, he didn't like the fact that the world is basically, you know, flat, but we don't know how flat this world is because there's like at least 3 or 4 worlds under the world. So if you've ever read the Lovecraft novel, The Mound, where the Spanish guy, conquistador, goes through all those, you know, and he finds those like psychic people like in the third world and they worship Cthulhu and stuff, Cthulhu or Tagua or whatever. So while this is basically a concave hex, and there's like a weird pillar at each corner with all kinds of ancient ruins on it, which I suppose is to keep the thing working. We don't know how thick this thing is. And in the book, it talks about like let some wizards say the bottom of this, which it may be hundreds of miles down, is covered with volcanoes and all kinds of stuff like that. And there might be life forms living on the bottom of the hex as well as the top, and then all the layers in between. But in the very center of the map, because you have to remember, if you're on the edge, wherever you are on the edge, the center is north. And it's based around Mount Vermithorn, which is mentioned a lot in Clark Ashton Smith and Lovecraft and all that. And the third great old one is Ubo-Sathla, lives somewhere under there. And Ubo-Sathla is just basically the giant amoeba that's constantly creating life and then absorbing it. And, you know, it's a mindless ooze thing. So, yeah, if your players were able to survive the mountainous tundra, the snow, the ice demons, etc., and get to Mount Vermithorn and then climb it, find a cave to go down deep in it, yeah, they could run into the spider, old one that's trying to make a web across an abyss. They could run into Sagwa himself, who may or may not wake up and eat them, just depends. Or Ubo-Sathla, who is in the center of the cavern where Ubo-Sathla lives, is supposedly a stone tablet that has all the wisdom of the universe, but you have to get it. And that would mean getting near Ubo-Sathla, and if he touches you, your flesh just melts like acid. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I like. It's weird, but it's not gonzo, because the reason it's the way it is, there is a reason. And that reason is the Hyperborean people who lived way back before the Ice Age and everything on Earth, they worshiped Tsagwa. And Tsagwa came from Saturn to Earth. And apparently at some point in this system, he went back to Saturn, but he took Hyperborea, which is what we call the Arctic Circle, with him. And he set it up with great old one magic and whatever. And now fast forward millions of years in the future, and you know, the whole continent is surrounded by this really strong wind that whirls around it. And to the modern day on Hyperborea, ancient people from Earth will like pull a raven loft, right? Like you're walking around and you walk through a mist, and when you get out of the other side of the mist, you're in Hyperborea. And you're like, wow. So when you play Hyperborea, you can only play human, but you can literally play any ancient culture, whether it's Finns, or Swedes or the Russians, which are the Cimmerians. They're like the Kurgan or the Cimmerians, Celts, Carolingian Franks. So basically, if there's some ancient people that you really like and you're going to get to play this game, say you're one of those dudes that, like me, thinks about, Rome every day. Well, I mean, if you get to play and they use miniatures, go out and paint yourself up a nice Roman legionnaire, make a fighter, equip him with banded armor and a big ass shield and a javelin and a short sword, and guess what? You're ready to play. And there are some villages out there that are just full of Romans or Greeks or Amazons or whatever. This is the other module I bought, and the Mystery at Port Greeley. And I don't want to talk about it, even though I know I could give it a review. But I feel like if I talk about it too much, anyone who wants to run this for their players, if their players hear me talking, then it would totally ruin what's going down. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of a mystery. There's a little bit of investigation and whatever. And then I made a video the other day. Those of you who watched it, Doom of the Savage King for first level. This is Goodman Games. I got it off of Amazon for like $10. And Enter the Dagon. And of course, we all know Dagon is one of the gods of the deep ones. And these are Goodman Game adventures that will fit 100% in the setting of Hyperborea. And then on top of that, I have all of the Goodman Games Lankhmar adventures. And Cremorium is basically Lankhmar, right down to the fact that they wear black robes because of all the soot and smoke and everything. And it's on a coast and surrounded by a swamp with a causeway. And so, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much Lankhmar. So you could file the names off of any of the Lankhmar adventures and throw them in Cremorium and be like 100% good with that. Now, this is a thrall. That's a Lovecraft thing. It's like a human that has become thralled to a great old one. And I need to paint her belt and figure out what color I want to do her shoes. But you have a list of ones to acquire. But I keep saying but. I need to stop. I want to say that because Squirrel Herman mentioned this, and he's 100% right, and I just want to back it up to anyone else that's watching and considering getting the game. It is not a gonzo game. It's not. I mean, yes, you're living on this world where the light's red because the sun is red, and sometimes the sun never comes up for like a year straight. And it's only the light reflected from Saturn that keeps everything from dying, right? And there's a lot of weird stuff, but there's an internal consistency. Like there are laws, I wouldn't call them like physics, but there are laws that the game world abides by. And if you accept that, then no, it's not gonzo. I mean, if you go on the plateau of Lang and you get jumped by a bunch of chocho dwarves that want to eat you, I mean, they live on the plateau of Lang. So do spiders of Lang, which that's a spider of Ling. I don't know why they call them spiders of Ling, because they actually got like 10 limbs. And apparently they're intelligent, so they can like talk to you and stuff. Yellow. Oh yeah, I gotcha for the shoes and the belt. Yellow, yeah, that's a nice yeah. But one thing you will find, and I don't know if this is a turnoff to a lot of people or not, is a lot of the creatures that are mentioned by R.E. Howard or Lovecraft are definitely 100% in Hyperborea. So, like the Byaki, Migo, Night Gaunts, Nodens, the Celtic god of the sea and all that stuff, whatever he's the god of. Gugs, but they live deep underground. So pretty much, if you play Call of Cthulhu and you open up your Call of Cthulhu book, all those monsters you see there, they're in Hyperborea. But then so is the Thing from the movie The Thing, and half demonic pig orcs, and all the weird shit from like normal AD&D too. The only thing I don't think I saw, and let me look while I'm sitting here. My wife's on the phone. My sister-in-law wants a visit, so we're trying to figure out when a good time. The player or the DM's book. And I mean, yeah, if you like AD&D, this is AD&D. This is kind of crazy too, because you see like this really wild group of people fighting night gaunts. And if you look close, like the Roman soldier has some kind of laser pistol, which you could get if you killed Amigo and stole their laser pistol. And in this game, the humans of this game would consider a laser pistol to just be another kind of magical thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Kyle. I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about, but I agree with you. I mean, yeah, game's fine. If you don't like it, you can always adjust. You can always say that it's an actual moon. You can always do whatever you want. I mean, And like I said, it's not necessarily the rules that really made me come running. It's the setting. I love the setting. I don't see dragons in this game. Yeah, no dragons. That's weird. A lot of dinosaurs, though. Oh, and you don't want to go near dwarves in this game because they're degenerate, 3 to 4 foot tall, and they're kind of huge fans of SA and stuff like that. So now, if you can beat them down and make them do stuff for you, they can make you really good equipment. But other than that, yeah, you don't really want to go near them. They're lawful evil bastards. Elder Thing, or Great Old One, Elder One. These are the monsters that they found at the Mount of Madness. They're in here. Giant ferret. Man, I'd want a pet giant ferret. That's what I'd like. A pet giant ferret. Fishman hybrids. Why would you have fishman hybrids? Because there's deep ones. And of course, like Shadow over Innsmouth, the deep ones are freaking reproducing with humans in exchange for bountiful harvests and gold and stuff. And they're creating the hybrids who will eventually become deep ones and jump into the ocean. That's straight Lovecraft stuff right there. Funguses, ghasts. Well, I found out what I wanted to find out, which was, are there any dragons? There are not. There are no goblins either, I don't think. There are, however, gnolls, but they don't call them gnolls. They just call them hyena men. So instead of saying you see a group of 6 gnolls, you would say you see a group of 6 hyena men. Nice. Yeah. AD&D, I will always have a lot of love in my heart for AD&D. I ran AD&D for damn near 10 years. And I mean straight, like a 10-year campaign. Characters, this campaign went for so long that some characters actually got old and died. Not from being killed by monsters, but from being 79 and dying. And then their kids and showed up, and they were running all kinds of different things and this and that. So I love AD&D, but the reality is there were so many rules in AD&D that I never bothered with, like weapon versus armor, weapon speed, the weird initiative system. Because the first game that my mom bought for me was BX, I used all the rules from BX for like initiative and stuff, which basically means roll dice 6 and whoever rolls highest gets to go first. It wasn't until much, much later that we started doing individual initiative. But even so, we still do individual initiative with dice 6. And then ties are broken by dexterity. And then if you've got the same dexterity, then ties would be broke by whoever has the bigger or smaller weapon. So a guy with a dagger is going to win a tie against a guy with a... Well, yeah, in this game, the dwarves are a lot more like Norse mythology. So they begin life as like these maggots that come up from underneath the earth, right? That the frost giant Ymir kind of creates or whatever. And after they dig through the earth as giant maggots, eventually they metamorphosize into a dwarf. Shadows game in 2 hours. Nice. I mean, this has been kind of an exciting day. I mean, but apparently Sundays become the new day for everyone to do stuff because, I mean, I've lost my bear. I've lost my fellow Floridian. My homie from the Commonwealth hasn't showed up. I had to yell at my brother again for constantly derailing every damn thing. He's probably listening too, and I'm telling him. I always want him on my show because he's my brother and he's one of my favorite persons on the whole planet, and I absolutely love him. But you want to talk about a guy who will derail any conversation at any minute. That guy right there. And it's like, you have your own channel. If you want to go on your own channel and act a fool, do that. But don't be on my channel dropping hard R's and shit. If he gets my channel killed, which granted I have more than this channel, yeah. You know what I'd have to do? I'd have to call mom. That's what I'd do. I would call mom and I'd say, Mom, your favorite son has been coming on my channel and saying racist shit, and now my channel's dead. And mom would give him a what for, I bet. Because that's how we are. We're man children, basically. You know what I mean? We're always threatening to call our mom on each other. But yeah, Shadow's running Hyperborea or Savage Swords of something or other. Hibernia, I think, right? I was really shocked when Shadow went out and picked up the player's guide. And then I was talking to him and he was basically hating on Hyperborea. That shocked me. Because, for some reason, I thought Hyperborea would be right up his alley, man. I'm like, dude, it's got all this shit you're constantly saying you want. But apparently the answer to that is no, it doesn't. So, yeah, I was really surprised. Now, right now, I've already given this young lady a wash. I think the Irish guy, him and his wife that sell STLs, made this. Jim, the other Jim. Yeah. So since I gave her a wash, I'm now using a much lighter flesh tone and just going in and picking out highlights where, you know, the light would be hitting her. And I'll do the same thing with her hair too. So I definitely got to get the nose and the cheek and the chin. The neck, not so much. Now, one part that's super important when you're painting these kind of videos is there in the boobs. You see that really dark spot there, right? Well, you want to kind of leave that, but you want to highlight the tops of the boobs. Now, right now, there's probably a purple-haired feminist freaking the hell out, but you know, this was one of my wife's characters. Why? Because she's a blonde, she's a halfling in real life. So when we play role-playing games, because she's Danish, she wants to play a big, beautiful, heroic, blonde Viking woman, right? I mean, I've never understood the thing. And again, I'm not trying to be political. I don't even know if this is political or social or has something to do with mental illness, but I've never understood the idea that somebody would be offended because some woman wanted her character to be like, you know, Red Sonja-esque, you know, like this big busted, beautiful woman with a nice butt or something. I mean, I don't get it, you know. Now, I understand when people want to play an ugly character because the last time I played D&D, I played a character who had been horribly like scarred in battle. So even though my character was a paladin, my face was wrecked. You know what I mean? And yeah, I would have thought so too, but and then you know, Shadow's working on a lot of stuff now. And so I think that I distract him from the stuff he's working on. So that's why we haven't seen him. He's probably been in chat, but he's learned that if he says hello, I'll start being like, why aren't you in chat? And then he'll be like, damn it. Because he needs to do his writing and stuff. You know what I mean? And I distract him from it. How you doing, Bastel? You showed up when I'm not actually getting ready to close down. That's awesome. It's been a while. Bastel Longbottom, everybody. That guy, Longborough, he has been one of the bros that has showed up and listened to me ramble for like the longest. He might have been my first subscriber ever. Ugly people are jealous of pretty people. Yeah, well, you know, it's like I say, if you're a big girl, learn to be pleasant to be around. You'll get a man. You know, if you're not the prettiest person on the planet, learn to be a pleasure to be around. And you'll get the spouse or husband or whatever you're looking for, right? But if you're not super attractive, and on top of that, you're going to put a ring in your nose and dye your hair world colors and just be a pain in the ass, don't be super surprised when nobody wants to be around you, you know, because you're so concerned about your appearance, you've basically made people not want to be near you. As I think it's a defense mechanism, you know, it's like, I can't be rejected if I'm such a bitch. No one wants to even talk to me. That's what I think it is. Okay, her blonde hair was a little bit on the dark side, so I hit that with a highlight, and I'm getting ready to hit it again with a really bright golden blonde. Yeah, he does AD&D, but with nothing wrong with that. I'm never going to be like, bah, but I'm not going to like bad talk Shadow at all. Shadow's a great guy, but I will say I was just really shocked when he said he read it through his player's book and he really didn't like it. I was shocked because myself, having read Hyperborea, I was 100% sure that that shit was going to be right up his alley. And it wasn't. And, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand it, but again, we have different likes and dislikes. But since this game is so close to AD&D, yeah, I just really thought this would be a freaking home run, right? Just knocked right out of the park. And I was surprised that that was not how it went down. I was like, yeah, like I said, I was just really surprised. I was like, really? Damn, bro. All right. All right. Zealot Yellow, not good for yellow, great for fire. Because they call it Zealot Yellow, but what it does is any of the indents or whatever, the low parts become like an orangey red, while the higher parts become like a yellow color. So it ends up being a really quick way to do a completely passable, decent looking torch. Now, for the actual yellow of her hair, if I'm going to use contrast, I'll use the Vallejo or the Games Workshop contrast because it's actually yellow. It's not orange. Yeah, I have those too. Those are the collector's versions. They're yellow with like a textured cover that's supposed to, I think, represent leather, even though I'm pretty sure it's probably fake leather. But because if that was real leather, I mean, God, we would have paid a lot more than we did. So yeah, you've got the collector's editions. I got them too. I don't really use them though. And then I've got the first printing 3rd edition ones, but I gave them to my brother-in-law. And I bought the 2nd printing 3rd edition books. Basically because I'm a crazy person. And I'm willing to admit it. It was like I was 100% happy with everything in life. And then there's what I'm looking for, a bright yellow. Yeah, I was 100% happy with everything in life concerning Hyperborea. And then I found out there was a new printing. Now, I could have easily downloaded the 2-page PDF of things that he fixed, which was mostly spelling errors and stuff, right? Grammatical stuff. But no, not me. Not your boy. Your boy has to have the thing because I am a completist. And that has killed my ass so many times with games, Like when I bought OSC, I bought basic and advanced, and I probably could have got by with like one or the other. I bought Coriolis. I bought literally everything to do with Coriolis, including the new Coriolis, which I don't like at all. I don't care for it. When I do that list of books that I'm looking to sell or whatever, Coriolis will be on it. Not because it's a bad game. It's a good game, but because I'm never going to get to play it. And I know that. I am never going to get to play Coriolis because my game group is just like, no, we're not doing that. Yep. But what I did see is as soon as my second printing came in, I just gave the first printing to my brother-in-law. And for some reason, the guy who I don't remember ordering like 4 of these, but he sent me 4. And I'm not sure. I guess I could go back and see. And when I ordered the second printing of 3rd edition, not only did he send me both of the new books, he sent me another one of these things. And I'm just like, all right. So I gave it and the books to my brother-in-law. And, you know, that's cool. You know, he can like it or not. He works for the school, so he hasn't been able to join us Saturday nights lately. They have something going on there, but soon he'll be back at the table, which is going to be weird because he's always played a dwarf. And like I said, they're going by actual Viking mythology with the dwarves. So, you know, they're mountain maggots basically, and they're not good. And, you know, so he's going to have to play a human. I don't know what kind of human. Maybe he'll play a Hyborian and be 7 foot tall and have golden hair and live to be 300 years old. Or, you know, maybe he'll play a Roman and be 5'6" and speak Latin and common and be from a Roman village. Because in my campaign, the legion that got sent out and got lost and never came back and no one ever knew where they went ended up on Hyperborea. When they were marching to the east, they marched through the mist and ended up on Hyperborea. So that's how I explained them. Just like the Cimmerians were being ran down by a Germanic tribe. And while they were fleeing the Germans, they ran through the mist and they ended up on Hyperborea. And that's why you have basically Cossacks on Hyperborea. And every Viking ship that went out to sea and got lost and never came back probably ended up on Hyperborea. I mean, the one Vikings in the game, they do say specifically they're the descendants of Leif Erikson. And they hate all the Norse gods except for the god of skiing and the frost giant, who was the first of them, the one that the other gods killed to make the earth out of. So the Vikings that still worship Odin and Thor and stuff like that, they've pretty much been kicked out of being Vikings and ran off into the like barren lands that suck. So yeah. I need to finish her up too. This is my wife's current character, the Berserker with her great axe. And I think this character was supposed to be a Red Sonja miniature, but I painted her blonde, obviously, because my wife, my trotty little hobbit. And I've got some very light pink on the end of this brush, and I'm hitting her lips. Not like makeup pink, just like the slightest bit of pink. Yeah. And now I also need to do her arming sword scabbard and everything. She's got like a Viking style sword in addition to that big ass great axe. So actually, I've got a couple females out here on the table. And while I've got the pink mixed up, I should probably hit up. And I've got my brush. Let's hit up some mouths. This one, again, I think this is a Red Sonja remake. I haven't started on her yet, but I gave her, like auburn hair. I've got one with really red hair too, so I am doing the Red Sonja thing. I do have the redhead, but haven't been married to two redheads in my life. I don't know. Maybe I'm of the opinion that, I need to avoid redheads. Doesn't work out. Lick the brush. Why? Because it adds a little moisture, but not too much moisture, which thins the paint down just a little bit. But I have to admit, guys, I don't recommend you guys do it. And this paint is not tasty. It is not tasty paint, It's not like in kindergarten when you got the finger paint and the paint actually kind of tastes good, and it was non-toxic and everything. This is not like that at all. So I got a couple more of these cultists I need to do. I decided to go with a red and black because that's like, I don't know, red and black together is like evil looking, And I'm not sure which cult these guys are even a member of. I've got some of them that are wearing silver robes. They're in the cult of the Silver Twilight. These guys, I don't know. And then I've got this guy who looks kind of like a druid. He's wearing like an animal skull face. He is a member of a cult of Shub Niggurath, or Niggurath, who is the ancient goddess of fertility, death, and all kinds of heebie-jeebie stuff. So on Hyperborea, they most of the time refer to her as Yandala or Yonde. A lot of the gods on Hyperborea have multiple names. So let's say you were worshiping Yig, the snake god. If you go to a place that's been settled mostly by Egyptians, they might worship Yig, but they call him Apep. And then, of course, you might go to another place and they might have an entirely other name for their snake god, but they're all the same snake god. That's what's important. So painted these up. I need to do their bases. These are for my wife's Mansions of Madness game. I paint all the miniatures for that. Just makes the game look better. And in Hyperborea, there are crabmen. And they actually are pretty technological. They got cities under the ocean, and sometimes they fly spaceships to other planets and stuff. So I've got these crabmen that I've been painting up. They need a wash, but yeah. And then since I am a huge fan of Romans, and if I were going to play this game, I might actually play a Roman. I gave Scipio Africanus, this miniature is actually based on Scipio Africanus. I gave him a Roman style shield to go with his short sword, and I would use him as my fighter, and I'd probably name him something like Augustus Claudius Ludinus or something Latin sounding. and send him on his way out, you know, to uncover the mysteries of Hyperborea. Now, this guy right here will be easy to paint, and I need to do it while I'm thinking about it. This is Brown Jenkins from the story Something in the Witch House. I forget. Brown Jenkins was a rat-like creature with a human-like face that was constantly, you know, causing problems for the protagonist. Apparently because it was the familiar of the evil witch who had a compact with Nyarlathotep. And on Hyperborea, they're not like singular animals. There's actually, you know, multitudes of these little bastards running around. And some evil wizards do, in fact, use them as familiars. So, yeah, if you're like, witch is a class that can be played in this game. So you could play an evil witch with DM approval, obviously. And when you use your familiar spell, summon Brown Jenkins or whatever the hell he is. You know, freaking demonic rat. If that's what you like. Now in this box, this is all my Hyperborea specific miniatures that I've set aside because I think they're really good for being Hyperborea specific. So like, you know, this evil necromancer looking dude, you know, and stuff like that. This guy right here, this is a the Men of Ling, except he's wearing face covering, so you can't see his face, which they talk about in the Dreamlands stuff. And I have a lot of gladiators, both male and female. You know what I mean? Because I am pretty sure that there is I'm pretty sure there's a big Colosseum in Cremorium. So another thing I've done is I've single based a couple of figures from my you ever play Ultraviolet Grasslands? No, I have not. My tabletop game of choice right now is freaking Legions Imperialis. I mean, I've got 4 armies for that are at least 3,000 points. So every time I can talk one of my friends to come over and play, that's what we do. But you know, and I love settings. I think I might have even looked at that. Settings are one of my favorite things about all games. So I may have actually looked at that. Hard to say. And like I said, right now I'm geeking out over Hyperborea, and I expect I will be geeking out over Hyperborea for quite a while into the future, really. Just mainly because of, you know, me being like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Of course, all my friends are all being like jerks about it. You know, they're like, oh my God, all he ever does is talk about Hyperborea. Well, I mean, you know, I do not. I've heard good things about it, but I've never actually played that game. No, Mithras, no. Generally speaking, I will only play one tabletop role-playing game at a time, but I might play multiple tabletop war games. So currently, I, in a relatively regular way, play Battletech Classic, Alpha Strike, and Legion Imperialis. Now, I used to have a buddy that would come over before he moved, and he and I would always play Oathmark together. But he moved, and I'm still looking for one of my friends to show some interest in Oathmark. I'll tell you what, my cataphracts are feeling unloved because Oathmark being a miniatures agnostic game, I just used all of my figures. Well, not all of them, but I used my figures from my Byzantium army, my which is Nicephorian, I believe. So after they did their reformation of the army, and so a guy like this, it would be my heavy. This is my heavy cavalry, my cataphracts. And then, of course, I also have my horse archers and cavalry and, spearmen, scudatoi. Of course, my Greek sucks. So if you want to yell at me for mispronouncing the Greek, yeah, I understand. But yeah. What's up, William Silva? Yeah, hello, everybody. Well, everybody is me because it turns out everyone I normally hang out with has a game or has to write or various other things. So it's me sitting here talking about painting miniatures. Now, this guy, I need to take some bone and some gray and do the fur and the bones and everything. This is a Kings of War Northern Alliance figure, but for Hyperborea, he would make a great like Laplander or Eskimo, Tlingit, relaxing at work. Must be nice. Must be nice. But I do appreciate you dropping in to say hello. Just like all the rest of you. You're like my mama. You are appreciated. But so weird, like Sunday, we usually get up early and go do our thing and then go out to eat on the way back if we don't stay for tea, and then come home and immediately get ready for the game. And the game being on Saturday, man, it throws everything out of whack now. Because it's like, do my morning stuff and then come home and like stream because, I'm not gaming tonight. Now I just put a wash, and it's a relatively heavy wash on this chick right here. This is a cultist / daughter of Shub-Niggurath. But it can also be used as a female man of Ling. Well, I guess she would be a woman of Ling, wouldn't she? And a lot of times, like, according to the Dreamlands, they're not great, In the Dreamlands stories, the men of Ling, like, go to one of the major cities and they buy up all of the dark-skinned slaves to take home and eat. Because for some reason they prefer the dark-skinned slaves. Don't ask me why. But that's just kind of their gig. They're like, we like these dark skinned slaves. So they wear baggy pants and big shoes. And then they wear like baggy shirts and masks with turbans. And the whole point of it is to hide the fact that they're basically satyrs, you know. And sometimes they serve the moon beasts. So that's why the cats of Ulthar kind of hate them, because the cats of Ulthar are at war with the moon beasts. And moon beasts are for, well, I have one right here. Moon beasts are basically giant, white, blobby, frog like creatures with a face full of tentacles. And they're intelligent, though. They can communicate psychically. But yeah, the men of Ling sometimes do chores for them, and the cats of Ulthar pretty much hate their guts. So you probably would never catch one of the black ships that the moon beasts ride on in Ulthar. Or maybe you would. I think maybe they did, you know. Interesting theory about the dreamlands. And I know I'm just rambling a little bit, but one theory of the dreamlands is that humans, when we go to sleep, we all share like a single dream, but we can't control it, right? Except some people say they've got the silver key or they're just naturally gifted dreamers. They can control it, and they can actually pass by the guardian at the end of the steps of, you know, light drowsiness or whatever, and they can go to the dreamlands. And the thing is that while you're in the dreamlands, it's like you don't really age. But if you get killed in the dreamlands, you can never come back. And then even on top of that, in a weird way, because what's his name? Carter? When he's in the dreamlands, he sees other dreamers. And but they don't really interact. You know what I mean? And so it's a weird thought that we all share one unconsciousness. And the things we dream of become real in that shared dreamland. But of course, they're not real, like in real life, obviously. Now, do I think that's true? No, because, you know, I'm a Christian, but do I like to play these little games where I imagine weird ideas and stuff? Yes. Yes. But I always remind myself, never get in a situation where I allow the weird stuff that I play or whatever to interfere with, you know, my pursuit of redemption. I mean, as an actual Christian, that's one of the hardest parts you got to deal with if you study demonology at all, is you got to make sure that you're actually strong enough to study demonology without effing yourself up, which would be incredibly easy to do, you know, because the more you look at them, the more they look at you. And that goes back to Greyhawk Grognard and his statue of Baphomet. I mean, I like the guy. At least I think I like him. I don't know him, but I'd hate it if he was like a straight up Luciferian or something. That would suck. I think I always gave Venger a pass on that because his version of whatever the hell he's doing is so silly that I just never really took it serious. You know what I mean? Like saying he worships Cthulhu. I'm like, really, dude? Okay, whatever. I mean, it won't keep him from going to hell, obviously, unless he straightens up, and we can only pray for that. But somebody who says they worship Cthulhu is a joke, really, you know? But somebody who's got an idol to Baphomet, that's starting to get into like some serious business, right? And it's funny because GameStop was selling the statue from the AD&D Player's Handbook as a dice tower, and a relative of mine bought it for me. And boy, put me in a spot, because what the relative didn't know is that statue is Moloch. And, you know, the idea of me having a Philistine, you know, pagan idol in my house is like, I mean, that's just going a bit further than I wanted to. But luckily, I was eventually able to throw it away without hurting anybody's feelings. And it sucks because I hope they didn't pay a lot of money for it. But yeah, it went right in the trash. So, yeah, I'm not doing idols in here. Like, I might have a miniature of like motor here, but that's from a movie. That's not real. That's not a thing. But like an idol to Baphomet or Molech or Baal or something like that, that's real stuff. I mean, real stuff dating back at least 6,000 years, maybe 10. So no, you'll not see your boy with a statue of Lilith or Ishtar, same thing, or Pazuzu or any of that. Yeah, you're not going to see any of that. Even though in the past I did study them. I have read the Goetica, and I have read which is just the Lesser and Greater Key of Solomon. And depending on which version you read, there's either 72 greater powers or 74, but whatever. My advice to anyone who has never read any of those books would be don't. You know what I mean? Because it's super easy. I'm telling you guys, you think you're researching something and it's super easy to get caught up in it. And then the next thing you know, right? As Father Spiridon says, do your best not to let evil things into your life. And I mean, meaning no insult to anybody, it is just a fact that a lot of people lack the strength of will to deal with some of these things. Because, and here's what gets them. You know what gets them? They don't believe. So many people in the world will claim they believe in Christ, but they will balk at saying they believe demons exist. And that is like the biggest trapdoor, pit trap that Christians deal with, you know, because if you don't believe there are entities out there that are trying to suck you in and destroy you, how do you defend yourself if you don't even believe you're under attack? You know what I mean? Luckily, we have the cure for that, and that is before you leave the house, there's a prayer we say, and then you cross yourself, and it strengthens you against the powers and principalities of the world. And of course, anytime you're feeling like a negativity, you can always say the Jesus prayer and cross yourself, and those things are guaranteed to protect and drive out any uh, demonic entities that might be trying to game you, because that's what they do. They can't force you either. That's the thing. They cannot force you. You have to acquiesce one step at a time. And then before you know it, you are completely owned. So, weird. So, I'm sitting here just like, stream of consciousness talking about all this weird stuff. And there's people watching. It amazes me. But, you know, it's amazing. See what I'm doing, since let's talk a little bit about painting for a second, is I'm painting up these mutant whatevers, daughters of Shub-Niggurath or Yandala or whatever. I'm the first thing I'm doing is just giving them a nice, warm brown coat, and when that dries, I'll go back and just do a couple of detail things, like the horns, the hair. Maybe I'll paint the hair different than the bodies. Uh, Maybe I'll paint the bodies, a more human skin tone on the places that aren't, covered in hair. I'll have to see how I feel about it when they're dry. But in that way, because I'm hitting them up with one singular color real quick, and that's going to be the base that I operate from when I go to paint the rest of them. So like the hair on the tip of their tails and on their heads, I'll probably paint black, but I may paint it red. The horns will probably get painted, some kind of bone color. I might highlight the faces with a tan color, because the men of Ling are supposed to be very tan from, living out on the plains in the middle of an Arctic area tundra. And I might do the hooves a different color, maybe black. But, it'll be super easy then, Yeah. Like, for the longest time, because I'd never researched it at all, I had no idea that the statue on the player's handbook cover was who it was. I had no idea. No one had ever told me anything like that. And I was young, and it wasn't like the rabbi was telling me, what this or that looked like. You know what I mean? So I had no idea until I actually, when I was in my mid 20s, before I converted, I dabbled in Kabbalah and Talmudism, which is actually what forced my conversion. Because the more I read Kabbalah and Talmudism, the more I realized that shit was witchcraft, devil worship, like Luciferian from the go, right? And because of that, after a long time of thought and like fear, actually, because I was afraid that my pops would be really disappointed at me if I stopped being Jewish. I just kind of went on my own with that. You know what I mean? And when I asked him about Kabbalah and Talmudism and stuff, he said, "Don't mess with that stuff. That's witchcraft." Which to me is so strange because he was born and raised a Russian Jew. He was. So for me, I'm sitting here like, you're born and raised Jewish. We go to synagogue, the whole 9 yards, and you're telling me under no circumstances should I ever get involved with a part of the religion that a lot of the rabbis think is more important than the Torah. But yeah, I started reading all that extracurricular, let's call it Hebrew writings. Of course, this is a long time ago when I could actually read Hebrew. And I realized that that way led to damnation. It's like the more I read about the Kabbalah, the more I read about the Talmud, the more I started thinking to myself, because growing up in a family where half of the people are Jewish and half of the people are Christian, there's this idea that we all would say, where we would say, yeah, we all worship the same God, right? But the more I read the Talmud and Kabbalistic practices, the less I believed that. Nice. I was nothing until I was probably close to 10. And then my mom remarried a Russian Jewish gentleman who became my dad. And I love him with all of my heart. He's such a good dad. He was. And because he was my dad and because he was so good and I loved him so much, I converted to Judaism, which was not easy because if you just ask if you can be Jewish, they tell you no. Like, you got asked like 3 or 4 times. I think it was 3. You got to keep asking and asking, and eventually they'll say fine. And then, you have to start learning what it means and trying to learn Hebrew and all that sort of stuff, right? And I was happy up until my mid-20s. I think I was prideful. I thought since I was Jewish, I was actually better than non-Jewish people. I really did. Because I thought, these guys believe in this thing, but this thing isn't real, right? But me, I believe in the real stuff. You know what I mean? That was just what I believed. And I was perfectly okay with it. When I was in the desert, I went to services. We had a rabbi, chaplain, and my dog tags say Jewish on them. And even though my rabbi here at home was like, told me that I should change my dog tags because if I got captured, it would go really bad for me. But I was like, I don't care. I'm not changing it. Kind of zealous, I guess. And I was just like, I will not change my dog tags. And But yeah, so you guys, most of you who have listened to me, you already know this story. But when I got into my 20s and stuff and started reading those other books and getting deep into like more than just the Torah, you know, looking at the Zohar and the Kabbalah and all that. I mean, that was eye-opening for me. Very eye-opening. You know, eye-opening in that it scared the shit out of me. I was a terrified young man because, like I said, at the one hand, I had become convinced that what I was doing was basically devil worship. But on the other hand, I was worried that I was going to disappoint my dad really, really bad. And I did. And he was very mad at me for like a year straight. He was so mad at me that at one point he actually called me a Yahtzee. You know, like we were not on good terms for a little while. And then the most amazing thing ever happened. And that is I got hurt and I could no longer drive because of a cortisone issue. And my dad had to drive me. And so, for the most part, in the beginning, I wouldn't even say anything. Like, we would be driving somewhere and I would just keep my mouth shut. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't want to fight with my dad. Well, there is a little bit of alchemy, but when you really get into Kabbalah, you learn about the tree of life and you learn about they're like divine energies, right? And there's some necromancy in there. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. If you really, really, really study Kabbalah, you are fooling yourself if you don't realize that you're worshiping the devil. You are fooling yourself. And the same with the Talmud. Like, I grew up my whole life referring to God as Yahweh, right? Do you know Jesus never once in his entire life referred to his father as Yahweh? Never. I didn't know that. Right? Until I got much older. And how I ended up on Orthodox Christianity is my mom had gave me the Brothers Karamazov to read. And I really, really liked Ilyusha, who was the fool for God, you know. And so then I was like, I need to figure out what this is. And I called around and I found a guy and I went and talked to him. And the rest is history, really, you know. But that's how it happened. But I'll tell you right now, some of the stuff in those books will curl your toenails. Right? Will literally curl your toenails. Like, one thing that bothered me a lot is like in the Lesser and Greater Key of Solomon, King Solomon the Wise, through the use of a magic ring, summons these 72 demons and he forces them to build the temple on the mount in Jerusalem, right? That was going to become, you know, the main temple of God. And me being the guy who thinks and thinks and thinks, right? I started questioning, like, but would the God that I thought I believed in dwell in a structure that was built by demons? And boy, that messed me up a lot, you know. And my mom would say, "Don't worry about that stuff. It's not real." And I'd be like, "Well, we say it isn't real, but a lot of the other Jewish guys I know, they say it is real." Right? And man, it just tore me up inside. And you know, I'm sorry to dump all this emotional stuff, but yeah, it literally tore me up inside. I just had no, I was really lost for a while. I mean, really lost. And speaking of really lost, after I get off here, I am going to whip my wife's ass at a game of Splendor. She is going to cry. Probably not, though, because, you know, I'm going to try my best, you know. She keeps beating me. I don't care for it. I mean, since we're talking, I wanted to kind of switch off since I'm getting ready to take off, and I didn't want to leave us in like this deep, heavy spot. I was like, you know, let's talk about something a little bit more, you know, on the front porch chilling with the homies thing, because, you know, because nobody's super interested in how I had my falling and resurrection and all that, you know. That's between me. And if anybody was interested, they would deal with it like themselves. You know, they wouldn't be like wanting to know what my thoughts were on it. But yeah, it's Anyway, gonna leave it at that. I think I am finishing up. I did manage to finish up base painting. Finished base painted. Did some stuff there. Working on some orc shields and stuff. You know, like every day I come in here, if I manage to get a couple of little things done. Thank you, Bastille. You know, I one of the reasons I think that I might have issues on this channel is because I don't focus on any one thing. And so when people log on, they see me on and they jump over to see what I'm doing. And a lot of times they just want to hear me talk about role playing games or something. And then they show up and I'm going off on some kind of deep theological thing. And for a lot of people, it's a real put off. And then conversely, there's people who see me on and they log on because they want to hear and chat about these theological quandaries that we go through. And I'm just going off on hyperborea or something, right? So then they're all like not happy. And, you know, so you guys, if you ever decide to start your own channel, just bear that in mind when you start making the content you make, that you can't be everything to everyone, you know? I accept that and I'm comfortable with it, so it doesn't bother me. Right? But I do a lot of introspection. See, and I'll go back to an earlier guest, Double D, Diversity in Dragons, right? Like I said, the first video of his I ever saw, which was the one about Connie, whatever, the Asian girl that, you know, was talking. Well, I think might actually be an Asian boy, but either way, that was talking about their game and how they, you know, there's no colonialism and blah, blah, blah. And monsters shouldn't be evil because that's, you know, whatever. And I knew the second I watched that video that he had his shit together. You know what I mean? I knew it. He just seemed like I might even say I don't think I was envious, but I've told people like Shadow, etc. Anyone who asks me about channel growth, I always say you need to watch how Double D does, right? Like Double D, his stuff is scripted as far as, whatever. And he's definitely picking really good names, and he advertises his live streams for like a week straight. So if you're like me, right, and you log on and you see Diversity and Dragons is going to have a live stream in 6 days, and you hit the remind me notice, boom, right? I mean, basically, Diversity and Dragons is doing everything right. An open TechML fan these days. I had the TriStat book. I actually bought it in Orlando from Gods and Monsters or something, is the comic shop, which is where the Dungeon Delver hangs out. But to this day, I'm not 100% sure what the professor who created it actually did. And I don't care enough to look it up because it's like, I'll tell you what, the whole Me Too movement and everything kind of wrecked me because it made me be like, you know what? I don't care. And that might not be good. And I would understand if people were like, hey, that's not really good. You should probably care. But it just made it where I was like, I'm sick of it, Like you got these women coming out here saying all kinds of crazy shit with no evidence. And then guys losing everything and getting paraded around and pilloried. And it's like, all right. And then here's the other thing too, I have my reasons to think that Hollywood's just evil anyway. And that's just the way it is. Hollywood's evil, right? Just evil. It's going to be evil. It's evil, whatever, right? So a lot of these women that are claiming that Weinstein did bad things to them, I believe them. I think Weinstein did bad things to him. But my problem is I think they consented to the bad things because they basically were whoring themselves out to get into a movie and become millionaires. And I mean, and I'm not trying to make like a statement about all women, obviously, but if so many young, pretty women are willing to sell you pictures of their butthole on OnlyFans, and most of them don't make that much money, like that one redheaded girl, I think she made millions. Pokimane might have made millions, but most of them do not make all that kind of money, right? But follow the logic. If some relatively hot ethot is willing to sell all this porn and everything to you for $100,000 a year, what might the same type of ethot do to get in a movie and make $10 million? So I know people talk about like power imbalance, blah, blah, blah. But there's a part of me that is like, and maybe this is a bad part of me, but there is a part of me that's like, I kind of feel like they did it to themselves because they wanted to be in movies. And I think one of the reasons I started kind of thinking that is I saw this scary movie one time where this woman wanted to be in movies and she got called to this dude's house. And I think the dude was the devil, but hell, it could have been, who knows? And she ends up having relations with the dude. And then like her hair falls out and she ends up killing her friends and like all this horrible shit happens. And then she comes up out of the ground where she had been buried, and now she's all beautiful and stuff. And they put her in a movie. So, you know, all she had to do is have relations with the devil and kill all of her friends. But in return, she was made a movie star. I agree. And Hollywood, yeah, it's like, you know, never forget that tall, skinny blonde woman, Meryl Streep, stood up and referred to Harvey Weinstein as her God. I mean, I can never forget that. And then all these other women. Now, did he deserve what he got? Yeah, probably. But before everyone decided to take him down, they were all kissing his ass, every one of them. And that is my issue with the whole scene. But that's enough of that. Like I said, I got to go play my wife a game of Splendor. It's one of our favorite games to play ever. So, and if you think about it, wish me luck. Until next time, peace and love, brothers. And be good.